Everybody, welcome to another WTF Wednesday with Thrive Community. This week's going to be a little bit different. We do have Ken Chung on. So I'll introduce Ken and then kind of let him dive more into his background as an investor, as an entrepreneur. So Ken has been an investor for, several years, done various strategies such as wholesale. He's out on the West Coast. I actually met Ken when he was a student for another company that I was with, that obviously he was a student with, and succeeded extremely well. And one of his superpowers is networking and really standing out from the crowd. So we invited Ken, who's also participated in a few other sessions, with us, just based on his insight that he provided. We thought we'd add more value to you guys by having him deliver a session on growing your network and standing out in a crowded market. So with that, Ken, I will turn it over to you.
Well, fantastic. Thank you very much. Oh, there's bigger pictures. Wow. Nice. All right. So, there's Andrew. He's back. Fabulous. And then I see we have, where's it covered? Oh, Samuel. There we go. Wonderful. And then, of course, Shelly's Autobot.
Yep.
Okay. How are you guys?
Good evening. My computer was not working properly, so
well, we were getting an eye view of you, Andrew. It was cool.
Yeah, cool. Just I don't know what's going on these. I'm so computer illiterate.
Well, some of you may or may not know. I don't know if you know my background or history, but in short form, I kind of aspired to be a Shelly when I grew up, and when I saw Shelly doing some information at the trainings that I attended, she had purchased a whole bunch of houses, like 90 houses in 120 days. So I kind of flipped that, I think. Or I think maybe hers was 6 months, but so I bought 120 in 90 days without any of my own money. And it started my little career off that way, if you will. But I had some mentors which were hugely valuable to me. I don't know if I would have ever achieved what I had achieved without them. Funny enough, my mentor Ross, who you would think one of the strangest times to have a mentoring session would be between Christmas and New Year's, but we did it. And it was right after that I went nuts. And between then and March, I bought 120 houses. And it's only because I just was missing that one piece, that support, that information. But once I had that, I had all the confidence in the world to run out and do everything. and I really did. Nothing really stopped me. I, like a lot of people, had the ideas of, well, why am I not investing in the States? Whereabouts in the States would you go to catch cash flowing properties? Why, what? And everybody's like, well, why are you going to the States? And I said, well, it's where I think opportunity is. Yes, there is opportunity there. And as Shelly and some others I know that could tell you, there's pitfalls and challenges about doing so. And there's so much money to be made in Canada. You just have to think outside the box. But one of the bigger things I had achieved was I built a massive network. By the time I started, let's see, it was 2004. I think it's 2004 that I started my real estate investing training. And I think at that time, my address book was about 1,800 people. Today it sits at 5,300. And I'll be honest, it probably hasn't moved much more than a couple of hundred in the last 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 years. No, okay, 7. But my point is that I grew massive network. And I really realized the benefit of that, because anywhere that I went, I needed to find people there that I could work with or refer people to or have a power team to speak with, because you never know what opportunities are going to be there. So I just jump out, and everywhere I go, I meet people. And I don't care what the conversation is. The best conversations I have are the ones that I stop talking and listen. Because if there's one thing that everybody knows about is themselves. So the one thing they can comfortably talk about is themselves. So it's not about me trying to tell them who I am and what I'm doing. It's about me finding out who they are. And geez, yeah, I could see at some point they could be a fit in one of my power teams, one of my network. if you ask anybody around here, and most people know me, they're gonna say, well, I don't know, but I know Ken, and I know he knows a guy. You ever see Shawshank Redemption? You gotta know a guy. Well, I'm the guy that knows a guy, or gal. But I had strange things happen that I don't know if Kurt was there. Were you there when I got inducted to the Hall of Fame in Vegas?
I wasn't in Vegas. I've actually never been to Vegas.
Really?
Never been to Vegas. I've been to the airport once on a layover for like an hour or two, and that's it.
Wow. I've been to so many conferences, so many events in Vegas. There's only, geez, I did go back in 2017, but that was the first time I did Vegas the way Vegas should be done. Right. Everything else, I was there for business. I was there networking. I was at event after event after event, and I talked to everybody. But I built my network there. And when I was at my Hall of Fame induction ceremony that weekend, I had somebody come up. Do you guys ever hear of Peoria, Illinois? Do you know? So
I've heard of it.
Aside from Kurt, anybody else know what's in Peoria, Illinois? Cat. You know those big machines, big tractors,
excavators. Yeah.
Yep. That they do big machines. They are out of Peoria, Illinois. That's where their one of their bases is. Okay. So I had a couple from there traced me down in the hallway and said, "Hey, Ken, like it's like running down the hallway to catch me to say, hey, somebody told me you might be able to help me or you might know a guy." And I said, okay, let's go sit down and chat. So it turns out they were trying to acquire a package of 50 houses from an investor, and they were trying to figure out how they can do it without any of their own money. Long story short, I helped them do it, put it all together. They gave me a nice little fee for helping them put it all together, and Bob's your uncle, it was done, right? But Peoria, Illinois, and I don't even to this day remember who it was that told them to go chase me down, but that's what they did. And they're in my data bank, so when I have relationships like that, and if I'll guarantee you, if there's anything around there that I needed help with, I could call them and they would tell me who I could talk to and who they'd be dealing with or what I might need or who could be there to help me in that area. So I've got people all over North America and some in other continents of the world that I've met and I talk to that way. But sorry, guys, I forgot to put my phone on. I forgot.
If I can jump in here, Kurt, if you don't mind. That I know myself and Samuel, because there's only a few people on the call here. This is like 10,000 million feet above sea level, what he's talking about now. So if we could, I think many people in this group are many beginners. And if you tell me you've got 1,500, 1,800 people on your contact list, I've got nothing. Me and Samuel, we're going to networking groups to meet people and stuff. And we need some encouragement to keep going and not quit.
Okay.
Right.
Wonderful.
So that I know that Ken, I appreciate everything you're doing. Trust me, I love you, my friend. And you mentioned about going to Toastmasters and doing these season things in Staples a couple weeks ago. I heard that. But there's people like us that are we're so in the beginner stages that these stories, while they are wonderful, and I hope one day to get there, but right now we're struggling to take the next step. And we don't have contacts. We don't have the next deal. We don't have anything. We're struggling in the Mexican market. We're struggling what to do, whether going in for, I'm going to speak for myself, and I'm struggling to go, do I go to Calgary? Do I go to New Brunswick? Then I went to a meetup last night and they're saying, no, stay in Ontario and do some duplex conversions and pay lots of money and get no cash flow, but just the appreciation is number one. Then somebody else is saying, no, cash flow is number one, and buy multifamilies, and then after 3 years refinance, get your money that way. But day to day, you're getting no money for your family, and you're doing okay. Do the buy and hold, but do flips to feed your family. So for myself, and I'm you can see, tell in my voice, I'm getting very frustrated now because I'm hearing so many different strategies, and I'm so non-focused on what to do, and I'm almost about to quit and go back to my other business.
Well,
Right?
don't do
So
that. Don't do that.
I hear what you're saying, but you are light years ahead of me, my friend.
Okay, well, let me take you back to 2005, because I went through the same thing you did, or you're going through right now, in the sense that I had so many people trying to tell me that do this, do that, do condo conversion, do land assembly, do. Hey guys, I'm on a Zoom call. They're talking about me, pointing at me. So my point is that everybody has their idea of what you should do. What you need to do is figure out what excites you and do that. Now, at the same time that I went out and I bought 120 houses, right? I bought those in North Battleford, Saskatchewan, Regina, Saskatoon, Calgary, Winnipeg. At the time, I had bought 12 in Kelowna, and I cashed out of the ones in Kelowna to buy more across the rest of the country. Okay. Now, if I had done nothing but keep those 12 in Kelowna, I would be worth simply about $1 million profit on each one of those. If I sat there and sold them all a year ago, or even today, I'd be even more. I would have made $1 million profit on every one of those. Just by leaving them, they were all cash flowing. They were all making money in the bank, right? But I went down the path of going cash flow properties and buying wholesale. And I did a whole bunch of other things, like you guys heard when we were chatting before, about assigning properties, because I couldn't close on them all myself, right? You need to find that inner genius within you, something that lights that fire, something that excites you, or find out what your why is. Because if you don't have a why, the rest doesn't matter. You want to feed your family? Figure out what's going to be the best way for you to do that. Now, I'll tell you, doing duplex conversions and stratifying a duplex and putting it into two singles and selling them off, there's good money to be made in that if you have the money to do it. Can withstand the time it takes to get it done, all the restraints around your municipal regulations in doing so. There's money that you got to put out, but there is good reward on it if the market is right for it. It isn't all.
Yeah, sorry to interrupt you there. No, I hear what you're saying, and you have your why, you have your vision board, but you've got so many people in the marketplace saying all these different things, these different strategies. How did you discover was it something came to you, like without you seeking it, or was it all, did you spend a bunch of money marketing towards wholesaling or rent to owns or whatever it is? I guess we're trying to, in this market's different from the past. We're trying to figure out where to spend our money, where to focus, and everybody's saying discover your why, get a vision board, all this kind of stuff,
Okay,
and
so
put a
why are
Ferrari
you
on your
spending
vision.
money? Why are you spending money?
Me, I'm not spending too much money right now. I'm trying to figure out, as I'm trying to grow myself. I'm trying to figure out, being exposed in the last 6 months to a lot of things I didn't know about before. I didn't know about rent to own. I didn't know about wholesaling. I heard the flip stuff from watching HDTV, whatever, but I've done my own stuff, but now I'm trying to move forward, making a better future for myself and my family, and trying to figure out what is the best thing. And everybody wants to know what is the easiest bang for your buck as far as markets and the asset classes or whatever. And so I guess
Okay. Okay,
I
let me
apologize.
tell you this.
I'm if I sound too frustrated, but I'm just getting.
No. You are going through verbally what's in your brain, and I appreciate that, because we all have been there and we're all doing it. And if not, we're doing it now. And if you don't think you ever have, you're lying to yourself, because everybody will go through the exact same thing. I'm going to be straight with you. If I had to do it all over again, I wouldn't do anything outside of an hour or two, maybe 2.5 hour drive from my home, because I don't want to be all over the countryside. I don't want to go to places that are going to take me all day travel to get there, right? You got to understand, from Kelowna, for me to go to Winnipeg, where I had 130 some odd doors at the time, it was a lot. I mean, it was on a milk run, because you can't get a direct flight from Kelowna to Winnipeg. So I got to go either Kelowna to Vancouver, Calgary, Winnipeg, all that stupid shit, right? So for me, if I had to do it with all the experience I have, that's what I would do. I'd stay home. Even if I could only buy one house a year, renovate it, fix it, and sell it, if I can make 100 grand, 50 grand, that's not a bad year. Now, if I could find somebody to partner up with and I could do 2, 3, or 4, that's a decent year, even if I'm splitting the profits, because 50% of something is better than 100% of nothing. Okay.
I agree, and I appreciate that because you know I was just at a meetup last night, and somebody was saying about not going within an hour outside of your comfort zone, and somebody else was saying I've been doing virtual flips in from Ontario in Alberta and also in New Brunswick, Nova Scotia. So these little nuggets are what I appreciate hearing from you. You've been through the struggles, right?
Well, you're talking about people who are doing virtual. Well, Shelly and I both were involved in many projects. You do things virtually. It's a matter of comfort about giving up control. Okay. I went and I had people doing things for me. I was doing it virtually. It did really well when I think I told you guys, or you may have been on when I talked about it before, when I started assigning properties because I couldn't close on it anymore. Right. And I was doing all that virtually. It was all from Kelowna in my office. Right. So yes, you can do it, but you have to be comfortable with what you're doing, and you have to know you have a power team behind you to do it. And that's okay, but you don't really build that power team virtually. You build that power team by going out there, meeting those people, shaking the hand, and building that trust factor. Right. So when I talk about the types of things I can do in real estate, yeah, I know how to do a variety of things, and there's not much that I couldn't do if somebody put me at the table and said, let's do this. Okay, sure. And if not, I'll figure it out real quick. If not, I know a couple guys that can help me. So if you want to take that back to your networking, I'm going to say that you have to think about, you're going out to network meetings. And we talked about this briefly last time. Network meetings, there's a whole bunch of people that are all out there to do the same thing. And depending on what they're trying to achieve, is going to be an advantage or disadvantage to you. If everybody's there is at a real estate networking meeting, right? They're all there trying to find money. They're trying to find partners and bring something to the table that they don't have. Okay, but everybody's doing that. You got to think outside of the box and go where they aren't. Right. So, Andrew, where are you? Like Toronto or?
I'm in Oakville, and the funny thing you just said is that it was a kind of like a joke last night. They were saying, okay, raise your hand if you're a investor, real estate agent, and then when they said, who's a private lender here? And a few people raised their hand, and what they're going, okay, you guys all come over here. We want to talk to you.
Yeah.
No, so it was just yeah, very interesting.
I like to go places where that the objective isn't real estate. Okay, Andrew, do you know how to do a flip? You buy it, fix it, improve the value, and sell it, make profit.
I haven't done it myself, but yes, I can. Yeah, I got that.
You get the concept. What have you done that you've made money on? One deal.
Well, I've only done actually one deal myself. I did a duplex conversion in Welland, and because thank God the market was going so well, I did a perfect BRRRR, and I got actually more than I needed. I got extra a bit of money I put in the bank. So
okay, good. So you've done a conversion, a duplex conversion. So you get that, right? So if somebody said, I could do that, or can you help me with that, you could do it, right?
Absolutely.
Okay,
sure.
Great. Samuel, have you ever done one? A duplex conversion? I can't hear you, Samuel.
Sorry, I haven't done one.
Okay, what have you done? Have you done any particular deals yet?
I just bought a property and you had it for rental.
Okay, and is it cash flowing?
At the moment, yes.
Okay, and where is it? Is it close to you where you live, or is it somewhere
No,
else?
it's 7 hours away.
Okay,
It's far.
that's all right. Where are you?
It's a Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay, and where's the property?
It's Sault Ste. Marie.
Okay, no, where are you then?
Oh, I'm here in Toronto.
Okay,
I work.
so all right, so you're familiar with the process and everything you did. Did you go there and do every little step all the way through, or did you do most of it remotely from
I did some of it remotely, and done some of it over there.
So did you go and meet some people, a realtor, a property
Yes.
manager, contractor, anything
Yes,
like that?
contractor, property manager, realtor.
Okay. And Ben, have you bought anything anywhere, done anything? I think you said you had a few, right? You're muted, I think.
Yeah, hi everyone. Yeah, I have some experience a little bit on yeah.
Give me an example, one deal.
Yeah, I bought my own property started in 2010.
Okay.
So, and then after 4 years, uh, I sold the property and buy my own townhouse, and then I
Okay.
fixed it myself, and then so I bought it for 200 and in Toronto, right? And
Okay.
then after 2.5 years, it goes double the price. So I sold it and make money with it. So
And you did some renovations and fixed it up.
yeah,
Okay, so hands-on fix and flip.
yeah, fix it and flip. But not really my intention. I don't know about strategies before, and then so eventually I got joined into a Casper tribe and become a member of it and learning there's a lot more strategies. And so I have some money in the bank and started to buy rental properties. So right now I have some few units from uh, Nova Scotia and Siemens.
Okay.
So those are the experience right now that I have.
Okay, wonderful. So, if I'm just thinking about in Oakville. So if you found a property in Oakville that, you just came across or somebody called you on, or somehow you found out about it, you're not in Oakville, right? You're in Toronto.
I'm in Toronto.
Right. But a guy sitting right over there on the top corner of the screen, he's in Oakville, right?
Yeah, I added already.
Right. So do you think that safe bet that he's probably a good guy to connect with and say, hey, I don't want to make the trip to Oakville, but why don't you take a look at this for me? If it works out, we can do something together with it. Or, if you're not interested, give me the goods on it and I'll take care of it myself. Would you be interested? I'm sure Andrew would probably have an idea.
Yeah, definitely.
Right?
Definitely, yes.
Okay. So, and even let's say that you have something in Nova Scotia, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And if you had a phone call from one of the neighboring properties in Nova Scotia, and it's a little bit bigger project than you're used to, because you're new, you haven't done any duplex conversions. In fact, they might have a duplex or triplex or fourplex, but a guy sitting over there that's familiar with it, but he's not in Nova Scotia either, but he knows the ins and outs of it. He's done one himself, right? So, if a guy calls you up and said, hey, I've got this, is that something you think you can handle? He says, well, I got a guy in my group that I work with from time to time, and I'm sure we could put this together. Tell me some more, right? You fake it till you make it, but you got a guy over here that's done it already. So you turn around and you bring Andrew a deal that Andrew never had before, and all of a sudden Andrew's going, shit, only because I told some people on a thing that I'd done this, that, well, wait a minute, now he's called me. I got 50% of a deal, or even if it turned out to be 25% of a deal, to oversee it, look at it, whatever. I got a piece of something that I didn't have 5 minutes ago. Right?
That's so true. And you know what? I'm dying to help somebody out. Hey Daryl, how you doing? Nice to see you last night. But yeah, I'm just like, I want to help other people, because I know eventually they're gonna help me out. And it's not like I'm doing it to be to help myself. I like helping people. And so just if somebody needs something, if I'm too busy, I'll tell you I'm too busy. But if I'm not busy, I'd love, because I used to be a home inspector for 10 years, 12 years, whatever.
Prime example.
So
home inspector.
call me, man. Call me anytime, no problem. I will help somebody out if I can do it.
Home inspector is a wealth of information, and you could do so much with that. Okay, I'm gonna give you an idea there, Andrew, that because as a home inspector out in Ontario, Oakville, or anywhere in Ontario, what does it typically cost to get a home inspection done? Thorough one, a proper one.
Well, I'm out of the game now, but my daughter bought a house up in near Tobermory a couple years ago with a wood stove in the country property, and I think she paid probably $850-ish.
Okay, so $850. Now, I'll bet you if you had put on a little workshop, and now I'm just going to give you an example, just because we did this here, but you put on a workshop, and I had 5 other business people that were, do it. And I said, it's too many. We got to keep it to 4 business people. So I had 4 of them do it, and I just backed off a bit. But what happened was 4 different business people that had all different ideas on how to build business, how to help people in an industry, right? Whether it's marketing, whether it's advertising your goods, whether putting some business plans or strategies together, whatever it was. There was 4 people that came together. They did a 1 4-hour session. They did 45 minutes each, and we blasted it out to everybody's network. We filled the room at 58 people on the early one. In the afternoon, it was filled up at 78 people. Everybody that was there was known by somebody. Now, the point is that I know somebody, I know a bunch of people, and Ben knows a bunch of people, and Andrew knows a bunch of people. Now, you guys aren't all in the same area, but you get the idea that if you get to put a few people that you know on a general topic and you put them all in a room, say let me ask you this, for $100, would you go sit in a room for $100 if you could find out anything, take one good takeaway about how to help yourself in real estate investing? Would you go? Anybody?
For sure, yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, would it be an even better deal if you took a buddy or somebody else you knew that was interested, a 2 for 1, because you signed up now?
Yeah.
Split it 50-50. Guess what I just did? I put an extra butt in the seat. Cost me nothing. Right? Now, I turn around and I get, 80 people in a room. Well, 40 of them probably paid the $100. Okay. So I got 40 bonus people there. But if any of those 40 bonus people actually did something, signed up something, bought something, or even connected with me and I got a deal out of it, it would be worth having them there. I don't care if they paid full price or not. Do I? But I'll tell you that the $4,000 that you just made by having these people come in the door, right, pays for the room, puts the money in your pocket, and you pass some knowledge on. But when you take a look at as a home inspector, most people go, I know enough. I can do this. I can do that. Right. I've done construction, or I've done handyman stuff. I could walk through and see that. I'll bet you Andrew's heard that a dozen times. Have you ever educated somebody and surprised them with something they didn't know?
Absolutely, because everybody used to bring their father-in-law is an electrician or a plumber or a
Right.
bricklayer or a roofer, and they specialize in one thing. But to be specialized in everything is very difficult.
Exactly. Now, even a home inspector, there's home inspectors that are not trained in as Red Seal ticket person in electrical, plumbing, contract or construction, right? They may have 1 or 2, or they've been trained on how to do their job and what to look for, so that they can help prospective homeowners and buyers find the pitfalls before they come up and bite them in the butt after they bought it, right? Worth $1,000 all day. But Andrew, if you turn around and put on a workshop and advertise the workshop, even if you did this idea and put a couple other people in there with you, so it wasn't just you, right? If you brought in some tips, you brought a mortgage broker in, you brought a realtor in, or you brought yourself and maybe somebody else that did construction, right? The ones that can give them some helpful tips, right? And you were able to put that event together at a local motel or hotel that's got an extra room there, or something that you can do and get a variety of different room options so that you can fill a room, right? Even if you put 100 people in there, it's $5,000 for filling those seats at 2 for $100. But you're not pulling from just your network. You're pulling from all 4 people's networks. So even you said, hey guys, you should come out. You got a buddy Bob, and you got, Sally or whatever, you say, hey, I'm going to do this thing. Yes, I'd like you to come support me, but there's 3 others going to be talking about this, this, and this. And anybody looking at real estate in the next year, they should be at that meeting. If there's one thing you could take away from there at that meeting, that's worth $100 all day. Right?
Yeah. No, I agree. And
Right.
hi,
So,
Shelley, nice to see you. But I was just wondering, because in other industries there is some marketing, and I appreciate what you said before. I heard you were talking about you went out for Toastmasters, and you were talking about getting the room in Staples and stuff. So
Yep.
From your experience, and even Shelley and Kurt, how much of this, how much of your new business comes from these kind of events versus word of mouth, or the sending out flyers and advertising kind of thing?
I can be honest with you, I don't send out any marketing. I never did. I've never sent out flyers. I know other people that have, and in a captive market for, depending on what's happening at the time in the world in that area, if there's a lot of foreclosures going on, there's some opportunity to drop some postcards or flyers, that kind of thing. But at the end of the day, nothing beats getting out there, making those connections yourself. So doing that meet and greet, shaking the hands, kissing the babies, that kind of deal, that's going to be your best marketing. Getting out there and listening to people. If you remember who people are, or remember something about them and what they can do, right? It may not be something that they can do for you. It's something that they can do in general. But if you could meet a guy from St. Catharines where Samuel is, and you met a guy, just happened to be at an event you were at a home show talking to somebody or listening to somebody talking, and say, you know what, I was wondering the same thing myself. Who cares whether you were really wondering it? Strike up the conversation. But all of a sudden you find out that that person's a mortgage broker in St. Catharines, and you know what, he's got some access to some guys with some serious equity in their properties because the market went up so much and they've had it for so long. And then all of a sudden Samuel says, hey, I got a deal, it's in my neighborhood, but I don't have enough cash, I'm looking for somebody to do this project with. Well, boom, right? But if you don't put it out there, you don't know. Go out and ask people who they are, what they are, make notes of it, think about who they are. You know what I do in my address book, because I use Google Contacts, right? Anytime I put somebody in there, I put a little note in the notes section as to who I met them through or where I met them through. And I put little codes in, whether it's RE for real estate or whether it's, a business networking group or whatever it is. I put notes in there because I need to remember sometimes how if I go back to it. Does that make sense?
Yeah. No, and just to be so totally transparent and real, like last night, I wasn't going to go. I was so anxious to go, and I pushed myself to go to this event last night, and it wasn't easy, right? And you put yourself past your comfort zone, and yeah, I saw Mo there and whatever, and Daryl, and just sometimes you think that it's just fake. So there's that whole thing about there's
So go
always
somewhere else
something
that you
behind.
don't feel that about.
Yeah.
Okay, right now there's a lot of home shows going on across the country, right? Are you guys already had them out there? Home shows?
I don't know if it happened already.
Yeah, true.
Okay,
No, I know.
so
I'm hearing
home
that. Yeah,
shows,
lots of home
boat
shows.
shows, car shows, anything where you can go and there's gonna be a mass of people there. Something that that you could talk about or meet somebody about that has something else to do other than real estate. You want to find out who they are, because business people, they're in business typically, right? So if you go to a business networking group, they're in business, they're there to network. Find out who they are. Don't give a shit about what you're doing there. They ask you what you're doing. Okay, you know what, I got a challenge because we did this project and we did a duplex conversion, and we're out of that, and we're having a hard time trying to figure out where to put their money next, right? And there's just nothing there. And somebody, well, what do you mean put their money next? And because they're now thinking, okay, well, you're doing something for somebody else. Well, yeah, I'm trying to figure out where to put their money next because I can't find that deal, at least not close enough. So I'm either trying to find a deal or trying to find a couple people put together, and we can make a group of people and do a bigger project, because that's a little easier. Because I'm sorry, but you do one duplex conversion, I'm sure you could figure out how to stratify a 12 unit apartment building, right? Not much different. The only difference is the amount of doors in there and some of the rules and regulations around it.
So
Now, is it as easy to do with, as buying a duplex and doing it, or just a little more cash? The only difference between the cash on a duplex that you're converting or a condo building that you're going to do, it's a number of zeros at the end. Does that make sense? You want to go somewhere and find other people with another purpose, not just fulfilling your thing. People want to help people like yourself. So if somebody has the ability to help, and it could be a win-win, they help you, they help themselves at the same time, right? Now, I am sorry, but there are two fellas I've never met, Maz and Daryl. Who wants to say hi first? You're all muted, so you got to figure it out.
Hey guys, my name is Maz, or Mo, whichever is easier. Just short-term real estate, short-term rentals, mostly.
Nice.
And yeah, I know Shelly, Card, and everybody. How's everybody doing, guys? Nice to see you guys again.
Doing well.
Great. You're doing short-term rentals?
Yeah, I do mostly short-term rentals.
So are they your properties or are they other people's?
I started off with my own property, but now I'm mostly co-hosting, and I'm just looking for a place back in arbitrage. I just don't know where yet.
Okay. Where's arbitrage?
Arbitrage is when you rent up a property and put it out on short-term rental.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm looking for somewhere maybe downtown Toronto.
Awesome. Yeah. So you're gonna buy something from somebody. You know, it's funny. We came across that same conversation here, and we were working the math on it the other day. Where my wife and I were looking at taking the kids and the family and their friends up to Big White for a week around Christmas next year, and we got talking to a couple of people that we'd rented from before, and we said, hey, we're thinking about this. She goes, well, I was thinking about selling it because we'd already connected with them before. She goes, I was thinking about selling it, or, because the interest rates are getting so high, maybe we just rent it for the whole year. So now I'm all right. So it starts running through my brain. Well, maybe I'll rent it for the whole season and then I'll rent it out in short term, just like you're talking about. Well, I can tell you that the cost for us to go up there for the week, or not even for the week, 4 days, 4 nights, 5 days, was going to be just about $2,200, right? Just for those 4 nights. Okay, well, I can rent the thing for $6,000 a month. Think I can make any money? I could probably double my money every month, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Right. So is she okay with it? Yep, because she doesn't want to deal with it. That's why she wants to rent it that way. Right? Does she care what I'm doing with it as long as I take care of it? Not really. Right? So that's great. Now, Andrew was telling me about some stuff he was doing out his way. And a lot of people don't realize this, but depending on the province you're in, the rules might say that you can't rent something from somebody and then lease it out or sublease it. So you have to be careful, make sure the regulations around that are cool, right? Us in Kelowna here, if you can't do Airbnb in your house here, you're going to love this part, Mo, because where you are is a little more liberal. But do you know in Kelowna that if I have a legal second suite in my house, I'm not allowed to rent it on Airbnb? Okay.
Wow.
I can only rent Airbnb if it is part of the space of my home that I live in. If I decided that I'm going to go to Mexico for 6 months and I'm going to rent out the upstairs of my house week by week or day by day or whatever, not allowed. Not allowed. And guess what? When they decided to do this to us, they've even gone so far as to budget almost $500,000 a year to put a team together to entrap us so they can fine us up to $10,000 a day in Kelowna. Okay? That's where our tax dollars are going, to entrap us so that we can't do anything else. Is it worth it for me to do it here? No, but guess what? If I go 15 minutes that way to Lake Country, those rules don't apply.
Wow.
Right? But because we are where we are, and the Hotel Motel Association has jumped on the bandwagon and pushed the hell out of City Hall, there is 266 people that spoke that night. 4 people spoke in favor of the city doing this. The other 262 people were against it. Went to the wee hours of the morning, but everybody spoke up and spoke their piece, and they rammed it through anyway. Okay, so you got to make sure that you know that. But I don't know where you are, Mo. You're in Toronto, right? But there are these opportunities to network. You've met Andrew, and I'm sure. I don't know. Daryl looks like he's in a suntan booth. I love it. Yeah. Are you in the infrared sauna?
I wish.
Anyway, my point is you get out there and you do some of those things and you're going to network. So go to places that aren't like, I mean, honestly, guys, I'll go to a home show. I'll go downtown. Literally I'll go anywhere and talk. It's the vein of my existence that my kids and my wife that go, I can't go anywhere without knowing anybody or without talking to them. I'll go to the hockey game down here at the arena and in the Causeway, walking around there, when you're standing in line for a drink or a concession or something, I'm going to talk to the people in front of me and behind me, even the one in the line next to me, because you know what? I don't know who they are.
Samuel, you have a question there?
Yes, I have a question. I think.
Oh, that's cool. Sorry, I didn't see the little hand. Sorry, Samuel.
No worries. So my question is, what if I'm just gonna bring up a scenario. So JV, someone's gonna be on the mortgage, and then all you have to do is find a deal and the down payment. But the sort of the catch is the name of the property is gonna be on the person who's gonna be whose name is gonna be used as like the mortgage.
Right. So the one that's going to qualify for the mortgage.
Yeah. So so that's the scenario. So the question now is it a safe venture? Because it sounds too good to be true, but then my name won't be in it, although there's going to be a contract that's probably going to stipulate where I have a lien on the property kind of thing. So at the same
Let me see if I
time,
got this right. You're saying that your name would be the one on title because you're the one that qualifies?
Well, it's just a scenario. So let's say I'm the one who's gonna bring in the property and the down payment, and his name is gonna be on the title because he's the one who's gonna qualify.
Okay.
And my name on the property will just be like on a paper, that drafted through the lawyer and that kind of thing. So is that a safe way to go through, joint venturing kind of thing? Because no, I'm afraid that what if he just decided, hey, guess what? I'm out, decides to remove me.
Do your paperwork, consult with a lawyer that's in your area or one that knows. I'm very familiar with real estate investors and how they do joint ventures. I know that Shelley knows some probably out that way. I don't know any out in Ontario myself.
Mm-hmm. But is that a safe thing to do? Because the only thing I'm afraid of, since my name won't be in the mortgage, it's going to be on an external contract that's just stating that.
Is there a reason why your name can't be on the mortgage?
Just a condition.
Whose condition?
Him.
The guy that wants to buy the property?
Yeah.
So he qualifies and it's your money. And who's living in the property? Who's doing what?
It's gonna be a rental. So he'll be doing he has management and rental team. So
okay, but he wants your money.
Yes.
And why would you do that? Do you not qualify for it yourself?
No, at the moment, no.
Okay. Do you know this person?
Not personally, just like heard him from someone, although people have been talking highly of him.
Okay.
But people are people, you never know.
No, absolutely. You have to really be conscientious of making sure the paperwork's going to protect all parties. Every province is different. That's why I say you need to consult a local lawyer with that. I look at it and I go, okay, wait a minute. Do I know Kurt? Yeah, I've known Kurt for many years, right? I've known Shelley for many years. Would I have any problem doing it with Shelley or Kurt? No problem. Mo, I don't know, but he's part of this group. Would I go to Kurt and say, hey, how well do you know Mo? What can you tell me about him? I'm looking at doing this. And then you want to look at which way is going to protect you, right? Because if you're putting the money up, you're either going to put it up and you're going to be able to register a second mortgage against the property after the fact because it's your money, right? So yeah. You have to be careful to see, because a lot of mortgage companies or banks or whoever's going to put the first mortgage in place, they are going to do a check 2-3 weeks out to make sure you haven't put a second mortgage on it, right? Now, that's okay, and you could tie it up through paperwork on a security from another property he might have until then. And then, you know, a month, 6 weeks, 8 weeks later down the road, you register a second mortgage on it so that your investment is protected, right? But I'm wondering why you couldn't be on the paperwork, even if it was on paperwork. You don't always have the what do you call it? You don't always have it disclosed on their percentage of ownership, right? But if you're putting money into it, you want to make sure that you're protected on that somehow. Okay. But it's not something that I would, me personally, would I jump onto right away without doing enough due diligence on the person, and finding out what the best way in that province is to secure your money. And does he have other assets? Does he do this with other people? You know, and if they do, and they have other assets, then use those to tie them up.
Because what he told me is that that was like a condition from the bank. Like he won't be able to use, because what he did, he has like quite a few properties, and kind of like I don't know the term, but collateral all the property for a certain X amount of dollars, and he won't be able to touch it unless there's someone like you pay for the down payment.
Okay, so just so you know, most mortgagers and lenders, and Shelley could probably speak to it more so than I can, but they don't like, they got to show where the money is coming from. And when you have to show and justify where the money is it a gift from family friend? Is it a loan? Because if it's a loan or it's borrowed, well, where's the agreement? Where's the paperwork? So we are a bit off topic of networking with it, but I am going to suggest touching base with Shelley or Kurt afterwards. But definitely want to talk to a real estate investment lawyer in your area. Like I'm sure one of Kurt probably for sure knows somebody in your way as far as a lawyer that you could talk to about how can you do that. How much money are we talking about?
38 million.
38 million?
Yeah.
You're going to put $38 million up cash?
No, he has money at his disposal. And in order to get in a business, you bring in the down payment and the property. And I guess he will take care of the rest.
Yeah. How much money do you have that you're trying to invest that you're thinking that you could do this?
Well, thinking because with 38 million.
Forget about him for a minute. I want to know about you. How much money are you talking about putting in? Like,
right now I'm thinking of like raising the capital and then procuring the property in order, to have a deal with him.
Okay, so it's not your capital then. You don't have the money to put in.
No.
Okay, so stay away from it. It has nothing to do with you because you're at this point, you're being a pawn between the two, and it's not your money, it's somebody else's money, and it's not your deal, it's his deal. So it's too far away from you at that point. I don't think it's worth the headache. If you're gonna introduce somebody to him as out of your good graces because you want to help somebody, so be it. But if you were saying, hey, Ken, I got 50 or I got 100,000 that I can put down to buy this place, and this guy is willing to do all this stuff, honestly, I would look at somebody like Mo or Andrew or even Ben and say, hey, Ben picked up another property in Nova Scotia. I know they're a hell of a lot cheaper than in Toronto. Well, maybe he's got his line on something else and say, hey, you guys got a deal. I got some cash that we could tie up. Maybe we can buy it, do some fixing on it, reappraise it, pull most of our equity out, turn it into a rental, make it cash flow. Let's go find another one. Okay. Instead of trying to find money for somebody else's deal that isn't even your deal, you're spinning wheels for not much of a payday. But if you know somebody and you can raise the capital for it, get them to fund a deal that you can do. That's your deal, not somebody else's deal. Something you have control over, right? Because if you had cash like that, Andrew would probably be happy to partner up on another duplex conversion, or Ben would be happy to probably find another property down the street from his places in Nova Scotia. Mo's probably got a line on a couple places that they could either buy or condos and rent them out again. And Daryl didn't tell me what he's been up to yet, so I can't really kind of throw him into the mix, but I'd love to find out.
He's getting a suntan. No, but if I could actually ask for one, if anybody's got, because now I'm in that zone of considering getting some private lending, if anybody has a template or something that most people would like to see for a borrower looking to uh, offer a project to a lender, I'm curious about that.
What do you mean for a borrower? For you to borrow from somebody to do a project?
Yeah, if I find a project and I'm looking for some private lending, and what kind of stuff do they want to see? Because I've heard different stories. One person's I want only see the technical things, and one person's I want to see the story behind you. So it'd just
Yeah.
be interesting to see different people what they would like to see, or some templates of their
I'll tell you, all
proposals.
lenders are going to be different that way, especially private lenders. Some private lenders care nothing about the math. Others want to know who you are and what you've done. So everybody's going to be a little bit different based on their history, their background, their experience. That is what's going to determine what they want to see from you. So the short version is, have you seen my website? Have you gone onto my website? Have you Googled me?
No, I'm sorry, I haven't seen that.
Well, that's all right. Go to kenchung.ca. I don't know if it's up right now. I think I had somebody working on it. I don't know if it's done yet, but if you can find it and it's up, tell me. But in there, that sole purpose of that website is to share a little bit of information, but more so to let people know that I do more than just one thing. Okay. And on there, there's a page about me or my family. I've got a bio in there. It basically tells people a snapshot of who I am. I don't touch that thing. I paid somebody to help write that for me so that it was worded in a way that could be timeless, in a sense that unless it was a major thing that happened or a major change, that I wouldn't have to re-edit that site. I don't do it to attract people like I think it's going to be out there and people are going to find me and want to do something with me. No, it's exactly the opposite. It's people like Daryl, who says, hey, Ken, I've heard a little bit about you and I was kind of thinking about this. And I say, hey, Daryl, you know what? That's great. I'm glad you connected. I'm tied up with something right now. I'm going into a meeting. I'll be free in a couple of hours. But in the meantime, why don't you go check out my website? It's ken at kenchung.ca. Or sorry, is my email, but kenchung.ca. It's not complicated. It's got a little bit of info in there. It'll show you who I am and a bit of my background and some of the capabilities that I have. Right? And then let's reconnect later. Would that be all right with you? Great. Fabulous. You've called me. I've got your number on call display. Is this your cell? Can I text you? Would it work? Great. Oh, no, it's a landline. All right. Tell you what, what's your cell number? I'll punch it in right now. I'll send you my website as a link. Fabulous. Guess what I just got? I got Daryl's details. I got his cell phone number. He's got my email. I'm going to call him back later because why? I have his approval to do so. He's given me authorization to call him. So I'm not calling him and hounding him unsolicited. Does that make sense to you? Okay, so the point is that it's there as that. Now, you know how that whole thing I just ran through with getting his contact, right? You can use that same scenario every time you meet somebody. People want to, if they want to know about you, they're going to want to talk to you. But at the same time, you're also important. Your time is important, right? I mean, Andrew, you know what it costs your time per hour if you were out there doing home inspections. How long does it take you to do that home inspection? Half a day?
It's like a 2.5 hour thing, but the marketing to get that business.
No, forget about the marketing.
Scrambling. Yeah.
Forget about that part. To do the
yeah,
job, a couple hours.
Couple hours, yeah.
Okay, and then to do the paperwork behind it, another hour? You got a template problem?
No, I would usually do a computer-based thing. So let's say 2.5 hours, a half an hour for the paperwork and print it out on the site. So maybe 3 hours. Let's say 3 hours.
Okay, you got 3 hours. Fabulous, right? So if you were doing that and it's 3 hours and you're making $750 for, say, is a cheap number, you're making $250 an hour. Your time is worth money, right?
Mm-hmm, for sure.
Okay, so to me, when I hear that and I say it's 2.5, 3 hours, and it's costing me $750, I know your time is worth $250 an hour. So if I'm sitting there going, okay, well, wait a minute, I've got a bunch of people I want to meet in this room, but Now I just met Daryl. I walked up and Daryl and I just bumped into each other and we had a conversation. And I say, hey, Daryl, that's great. I don't mean to be rude. I'm trying not to be, but I was on my way to meet this other person that I had previously arranged to meet. Do you mind if we reconnect? Fabulous. Great. I don't want to give you my card because I really, honestly, I gave out my last card already. But if you want to give me your deets real quick, I can send you a quick text or hello, and then I have it. Would it be all right with you if we do that? Great. Can I follow up with you? Fabulous. Now I've got his deets. It's in my phone, right? I'm going to send him a text saying, hey, Daryl, Ken, we were just talking. I'll look forward to talking to you later. Whatever it is, boom, right? Then I'm going to save Daryl's contact in my phone, and I'm going to say it's from this event, right? So then I'm going to go back later. I'm going to all the people I met at that event, and I'm going to follow up, and I'm going to talk to them. Say, hey, great. Sorry we couldn't chat the other day, Daryl. What can I do for you? How can I help you? And he'll go, I don't really need any help. Oh, okay, great. Nice to meet you. What do you do? Then shut up, right? Because now I want to find out about them. They're going to tell me what Daryl does. He's the only one that hasn't done that yet tonight. So I'm still waiting for him to pipe in and do so. But, you know, we'll get there.
I didn't want to interrupt you.
All good, brother.
Yeah, we only have a few minutes left. So Daryl, if you want to just share what you're up to
Yeah,
before we
sure.
wrap up.
Yeah, nice to see everyone. Ken, nice meeting you.
You too.
Shelly, Andrew, Mo, nice seeing you last night. Yeah, I've been diving into wholesaling for the last maybe close to a year.
Awesome.
And I'm trying to really learn more about investing in my own properties through raising private capital. Same thing Andrew was asking about, because I think we've seen the same video with Amy Madry come in. She explained a bit, so I'm really trying to deep dive into that and learn more about that. So,
And where are you?
I'm in Markham, Ontario.
Okay, great.
Yeah.
So
You're when you said Kelowna, is that BC you're out
you
of?
betcha. Beautiful British Columbia.
Shit. Okay.
I know most people. I was having a conversation today with a lady out in Toronto, and she said, oh, Kelowna. Okay, I've never been there. I said, yeah, I know, because otherwise you'd live here. I said, the only people that go back to Ontario from here is usually to go get their stuff or sell everything so they can come back, move here.
Is it on the island or on the mainland?
No, I'm in the interior. We're wine country of the north. So, but we're about 3.5 hour drive east of Vancouver and up a little bit in the interior.
Do you know
So-
Prince George?
Yeah, I was there before I came
Okay.
here.
Okay, that's my I have some family up there.
I mean,
Yeah.
I got friends up
My
there.
my mom's from Vancouver Island.
Awesome.
Yeah,
You
so-
should reach out to me. You guys got me on Facebook there. Feel free to drop me a line. I will talk real estate until I'm blue in the face. I don't care if we're in the meeting here. You just want to reach out. You want to further the ideas or whatever. I will talk until 3, 4, 5 in the morning. In fact, I know I'm going to be up at 3 o'clock this morning because I have a Zoom call at 2, and I'm going to be jazzed from that, and I'm not going to be able to sleep right away. But that's because these guys are in England, right? I am all over the map and talking to people. So I'm happy they're there. Daryl, I'm sorry I didn't get enough time to talk about that because I know we only got a couple minutes left.
No,
But really what I want to emphasize to you guys, even if you're going to go do something like that, do the buddy system. You know, call Daryl up, or you call Mo up, or Samuel or Ben or whatever, and say, hey, let's go do this thing. There's an event. I don't care if it's real estate based or not. And you know, one of the best things you do if you can talk to somebody and somebody comes up and talks to you and you're at an event, I say, hey, great. I just want to introduce you to my buddy Daryl. He's been doing a bunch of stuff with this and that. I got to go off of here. I'll come back in a minute. Right. And then you let Daryl sit there. You leave Daryl, you abandon him. You say, hey, he's got no idea what he's talking to, who he's talking to, but it doesn't matter. They strike up a conversation because you did the intro already. Right. Find any excuse you can to talk to anybody about anything, but let them talk about themselves to you. Then find out a way that you could help them. Because if you can help somebody else succeed at whatever it is, trust me, they're going to be more interested in helping you succeed at whatever you're doing. Right? When somebody asks you, Andrew, what do you do? I said, I'm transitioning. You know, I've been doing this house inspection for years and got tired of watching everybody else make the money. I started doing some of the duplex conversions of my own, and now I'm just looking to work with a couple other people that I have to find another deal and put it together. You
Yeah,
know,
no,
like
even
it's-
last night I was talking to a few guys. There's the last 28 years I've been doing sewer, water main, and road construction. Some guy was talking about he had to do a duplex conversion thing, and they were running it. They couldn't find the water service and the sanitary service. And I said, man, that's my deal. That's my gig,
Yeah.
man. Call me. I could
Awesome.
free. I'll just come help you out. Whatever,
No,
man.
no, no.
I want to
You
help
said
you.
call me.
It makes me feel good.
Yeah, you don't say call me. You don't say call me because they never call, brother. You want to get their info. You want to catalog them. You want to be able to put them in your power team of people. These are guys that did this. Then I know who I can go to when I need that done, right? And you always follow up. You know, like I meet you guys today, and if I had the freedom of the phone numbers and everything I would do, I'd be calling, you know, Mo up and say, hey Mo, I got a friend of mine that has been pumping out the Airbnb shit in the Lower Mainland. She is fucking rocking it out, and she is doing a great job at it, right? Apologize for the profanity if anybody's offended. I'm sorry, but she's killing it, right? And then I look at it and go, Jesus, if Mo's in Ontario, you know, I actually know somebody that's out that way right now that I could probably hook him up with and be able to do it. And I was thinking about Ben, because Ben mentioned it was in Nova Scotia, in Brunswick, wherever the heck it is, starts with an N, and I know it's back east. But I got a buddy of mine that Shelley knows well, and probably Kurt knows Brock as well, but he's got a building back there that he's looking to sell. And I was trying to get the information from him, but something's come up with his family, so he's been a little distracted. But he's got a building that's 1.6 something million. But the beautiful thing about buying from a guy like that is that he's an investor too. So he gets it. He gets the creative financing. He gets what we do. But he doesn't have any interest in being back there anymore. So he's been liquidating his stuff off. He was down south, his lady that he's with, you know, his wife, and they were down south doing a bunch of stuff there. Has no interest in being up there anymore. Right? But you can't always find somebody that's going to buy something that way. If he wants top dollar, maybe if he wants top dollar, okay, well, how can we make this work as a win-win? How about we do this and do it a little bit over time? I jump in, I take over, I do this, or I put something down, whatever it is. It's so dark in here because it's getting dark at night. You can hardly see my face. Sorry, guys. But you get my point, is that I will put it back out there, and I'll punch it back into the Thrive thing. I'm not as great on all this online stuff, so I'll probably get Kurt to post it and say, hey, when I get the information from Brock, because he's going to send me a package by email, and then I'll put it out there to you guys. So I know Ben was talking about stuff back east, and to be honest, I see 4 or 5 faces here that you could probably, between the 5 of you, find a way to put it together and do something together out there and take it over from him. I bet the 5 of you could find your network within yourselves to make it happen, right? And if not, I bet you might know a guy that knows a guy. And if not, you know, Kurt knows a guy who knows a guy or a gal, right?
Absolutely. Absolutely.
So feel free to
Yeah,
reach out to you guys. I don't want to take all your time.
No, the nice thing is that we're just I know Kurt and Rob, they're just building this community, and these kind of contacts, they're huge. So if we can make a contact and do this kind of stuff, it's amazing stuff.
You ever have a problem or a challenge in real estate, lean on the people that you've met in these groups. Lean on the people. Dude, if you have a mentor, that I'm going to tell you now that if you don't have one, invest in one. It is one of the best investments you can ever make in your life. Spend the money on a mentor. I mean, I can't remember what it was back when I did. I think it was like 8 or 10 grand shit. Anyway, best money I ever spent on having a mentor. I still talk to him to this day. He goes, why do you keep talking to me? You far surpassed any of the shit I did. And I said, well, not really. I did different shit. But you know what? I got a guy I've been able to call for coming up to 20 years. Has it really been that long? Jesus, I'm getting old. Anyway, I coming up on 20 years, and I can still call him. I talked to his wife a couple weeks ago, right? And anytime I'm trying to find somebody to bounce something off of, because I'll tell you right now that I got your 5 guys embedded into this brain. When I'm trying to find something, oh, what is it? I was thinking weightlifting for a minute, but that looks like cups. Okay.
Oh.
Are you? But I got 5 people in my brain right now that I know can do 5 different things that's going to be with me. And I don't do a lot back east, but I know people I talk to all the time, and it's easier for me to connect them with people because you know what? it isn't all about me. It's about me being able to help others. You see those 3 rings in my background there? It's all about the network, and that's how those things got created.
Awesome.
Right? About the network and staying connected to people.
All right. Well, I think we will end there for the evening. I do have to get 2 boys to bed. School day tomorrow. Fortunately, next week is March break, so I don't have to worry about that. But Ken, thank you very much for being on and sharing. One thing I wanted to say, I wrote in the chat, if you guys are just stuck, like you don't know what strategy to do, what market to do, and not a conversation necessarily about real estate, but just getting unstuck, book a call with me. It's 30 minutes. It's free. And
Free?
I'll ask you questions.
Did you say free?
It's free.
Shit.
Uh-oh. Ken's booked the call
Damn,
now.
I'm going to book a call. That's all. I didn't know it was that easy.
But just book it.
Well, the calendar link's in the chat there, Ken. Just go for it.
He's cheap too. That's damn cheap. I used to bill out at $500 an hour. Cheap. You're a wealth of information, brother.
But yeah, just want to help you guys get unstuck, because we all know, I know Ken has mentioned it, Shelly's been through it. I've been through it. We've all been stuck in different parts of life, different parts of business and real estate. So if that's where you guys are at, book a call.